This week we're looking at Louise Turnbull, and I came across Louise's work probably about 2 years ago. Now, she's been showing in lots of nice galleries in Wien, and she is very accomplished. She's done lots of courses, and she changed from, well, she basically changed her whole career. She was a riding instructor, and she decided she wanted to take and get into her painting full time. So the first painting we're going to look at is this one here called Firefly Delight. Doing her riding, she was out in all weathers. Sometimes it was very dangerous conditions.
Charlie,
and she had...
Charlie, can you off the Wi-Fi? Okay, ASAP.
Yeah, you're also starting far away, so...
Oh, are we not getting very good?
So can you just ask him to come off Wi-Fi?
Okay, do you want to start again?
Hi Talia, hi Susan.
Just having a little Wi-Fi issue. So we're just looking at
Hi Jess.
first painting, and she was a riding instructor and she was out in all weather conditions, but she says she has an intimate knowledge and respect and love of the landscape. Her paintings are an emotional response to her landscapes and the experiences she has. So she doesn't really plan what she's going to do, but there is an intention in mind. And basically, she wanted this one to be quite playful, and it conjures up lovely woodland walks with wild garlic and a carpet of moss. And I love this dramatic use of colour, this very dark sky and these colour pops of lime and gorgeous pinky peaches. She works in mixed media, and she believes, you can move on to the next one, darling, if you want, which is called Eternal, to the whisper of whatever she's thinking about intuitively. And it's important also to take risks. She works in many different mediums, but loves oil pastel and oil sticks, and it sort of reminds us of when we were little, we had crayons, we would just kind of colour away. So she's doing that, and this is actually a much more sensitive, softer piece. And I love the sort of physicality, and I think that's what Louise does very well, the physicality of the paint, often scratching back to reveal layers.
Becky, if you could just film and chat at the same time. Go on and chat at the same time.
Okay, I think we've got a slight, strangely, because this is in the house. Okay, sorry about this, guys. Isn't it the way? It's so weird. We get terrible internet in the gallery and it's all been fine. And then in the house where it should be fine, look how nice and tidy my kitchen is. So we are now told them to come off the machine. So that is it could be a weather issue as well. Now this is called, I absolutely love this piece. This is called Unspoken. And this was painted just before lockdown. And you can see the layers of paint. And it's also been finished with a lovely varnish. So it doesn't need any glazing at all. And it's just completely ready to go on the wall. Now, if you didn't like any of the frames that we have, we can also change, and obviously some people don't like black frames, some people don't like white frames, so we can do something about that. But I'm just going to hand the camera back to Ad. Well done. Okay. So yes, this first piece, Unspoken, and she said the hills, and she was up walking, and you can see all this wonderful movement of colour and marks that she makes. And she said it must have been, used for rough grazing for generations. And the landscape was harsher because it was exposed, but visually it was much softer because the colours of the heather and the gorse were making it much softer. And she said she loved that contradiction and the soft lines and the wonderful free brushstrokes. Now this piece actually sold yesterday to a client who's been waiting for the right piece, so I'm delighted to say that one's already sold. The next one is Reaching Solitude, which is an exploration of colour, and that really conjures up that sense of precious materials that bury orbital sander, which was used to scrape back the layers. And she loves working on wood, which allows you to do this. You create an element of chance, and you're not really in control of what happens, which is amazing. And she does really like to take risks, and things that happen are always kind of happy. But she loves that expressive mark making, and you can see these very dramatic marks, and then the quieter areas and balance to the piece, and that creates a drama in itself. Now we're going to walk through slowly to the gallery, because as I said, the internet is not fantastic today. Probably.
I've got the boys off it, so hopefully it was a bit stronger, but I know it broke up. And at this point, hopefully we'll just switch to...
Dad, are you having problems, Ads? Okay.
Right, we're back.
Right,
we're back.
we're back.
Apologies.
Um,
Technical issues.
Yeah, so these are lovely, colourful collages built up with colour, and they're not objective at all, and you can really lose yourself in these wonderful depth of colour and expressive marks. Now you could have one of these or two of these, obviously they're all finished and ready to go. The thing about these, lovely, they just go straight on the wall. And I placed them with this, against this colour here, because I just thought they looked amazing. So anything like a charcoal grey or a dark blue wall would look amazing. So we're going to take a slow walk into the gallery. It's absolutely pelting down here.
Oh, it's now raining.
Days to decide to do an inside out. Maybe it wasn't the best day. Anyway, the first one in here of Louise's is this one, which is called Outpouring. Now, Louise is a huge fan of Joan Erdely's work, and Joan Erdely, as a lot of you know, was one of the most influential Scottish painters of her generation, and she created an expressive visual language that was entirely her own. And Louise loves what she loves in Joan's work was the transient, the drama, the landscape, the magical use of colour. And this is something Louise tries to capture. So the painting, if you like, the physicality that comes out in Louise's work was where she was doing her physical things as a riding instructor. She now puts all her energy into creating these magical, big brushstroke, thick paint, sort of trudging through the canvas or the wood, whatever she's working with. This painting actually was one of those ones that wasn't working that well for her, and she turned it upside down and she played around with it. And you can see, when you look closely, the underpainting, which shows the journey of the painting. And it also shows very strong Joan Erdely influences. It's a very strong and powerful piece. We move around quieter pieces over here. Now I've styled these with items from CV Interior Styling, so if you like any of the items, these are also for sale, but it makes it more interesting when you're looking at things, that you can see them maybe in situ with, sitting on something that's colour coordinated or a contrast. Now the first one is called Red Fusion, and she often uses a horizon line, which you can see here. And basically that captures or anchors the painting. It's also bringing balance and drama in the landscape. And I love the intensity of the colours in this and that wild mark making. You're getting good light on that, aren't you?
Well, it's quite a low one for me.
Maybe bring it up there. How's that?
Yeah, there you are.
It's important to see these.
Fantastic.
The next one is called Indian Summer. And this captures the senses of the delicate landscapes and changing seasons. And this was painted last autumn when she was working towards this show. Actually, I really like these two pieces together.
There's a sense of heat with this one.
Yeah. This one is called In the End It Began.
We've got quite a strong reflection in this one, so I'm just going to turn around and see if I can...
With any of these pieces, you could take the glass off.
You still have reflection, but...
Especially with dark pieces, it's very difficult with the glass. But this piece was really about experimenting, broad, sweeping brushstrokes, and expressing the power and the movement of the sea. And it encapsulates the sky and the sea meeting each other. And the sea is something very important to Louise. She loves that feeling of the sea, being at the seaside. It brings back and evokes all those memories of when she was a small child. Actually, actually I've realised that is the wrong painting, but it's basically very similar to the next one. This one was actually called Orchestra of Light. So there we go.
You go the right way round. You go the right way round.
Yeah, but we're still kind of got those. It's still the same. It's stormy. It's got those flashing lights, and there's a sense of danger.
They're very dramatic.
And this is the one which is actually the one I described as well. Again, it's allowing just the brush to flow, the colour to flow, the expressive movement of the sea and the power of the sea. They're both very strong pieces. Louise's dad was in the Navy and he used to tell us stories about, you know, what it was like being at sea, and quite often obviously dangerous voyages. And so she's kind of evoking those memories, and they're so strong. She's very confident. She doesn't fuss about. She really gets that paint on, lets it do its thing, and she's not going to fuss around, which is that's what I love about her work. We move to these 4 little pieces here. Now, one of the things Louise says that she loves the sense of travelling through the landscape, when there's not a soul in sight, and we all love that. And there's a timeless geology that could be today or centuries ago about these pieces. And that was the process that she worked through. She kind of was layering up, scratching back, revealing layers. And they're quite sort of historic. Now we've put them together, you could buy one or have 2, and I love them with those dramatic frames. Louise is also rather partial to using a sander, so quite often when she feels she wants to, she'll use the sand blaster to scrape away. Again, it's that sort of intrinsic thing about digging in the earth or looking through the rocks and looking back over time that really is important in her work.
There's a gorgeous autumnal feel with those hot colours.
And the last one in here is called Veil of Light, which I love.
Before we get to it, you should admire this beautiful
the light on that
pink.
Is really lovely,
the pinks, I think mountains, and then you have the sky. It's gorgeous.
That one is called Until Tomorrow, the one with the little pink there. And then the one underneath is called Highland in Autumn, which is, you can see those lovely warm colours. And then we come to Veil of Light, which I love. And this was really to show the sort of the transience and changing kind of contours of the sky, of the weather. You know, one minute it's sunny, there's a clear sky, and then the next minute we have a big black cloud and it starts to rain. Veils of colour, and I think she's experimenting with that extremely well. This was painted outside on her balcony, so she had the whole vista, and there was a big, ominous black cloud, and really that's just, it's so spontaneous, which I love.
Strong as well.
So all these, I mean, Louise uses quite strong frames. They're black or white. Again, if people didn't like them, they don't have to have them. It's all about personal taste, so we can change these things.
Some have glass, which, apologies for the
yeah, it's difficult with dark
reflections.
Yeah, it's very difficult with dark paintings. And of course, if you have them in your own home, you can actually light each one, or you can get museum glass, which is more expensive but has nil reflection, which would make a huge difference. I mean, this is an amazing painting.